Welcome to Blood in the Snow Radio, where we give you the latest news and interviews with the best in Canadian genre cinema. Here are your hosts, Robert Bellamy and Festival Director Kelly Michael Stewart.
And we are still here at Blood in the Snow 2024. Kelly, how has the event been so far? Because we're on Wednesday.
Well, really good. We're actually, I guess we're kind of at the halfway point.
Yes.
That's while we're recording these here. We're at the Transact Club. They're just finishing up the development lab, just finishing that up for the day, and then we're going to switch to what we call Deadly Exposure, or industry panels. And actually, Luke will be one of the guests on that as well. Kind of like that too. We're both a filmmaker for the festival this year and a special guest on the panel. So we got you twice.
I'm so excited to be here as many times as you ever need me.
Yeah.
So could I get you to introduce yourself, your project, and then a brief synopsis of the project?
Hey, my name is Luke Hutchie, and I am at Blood in the Snow with my show Ezra, which is about a vampire named Ezra who moves to the modern human world on a quest to find himself and love. But as he does that, he breaks a 300-year-old treaty, and all of the vampires in hell are out to get him before the vampire hunters discover he's left hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot in that synopsis.
Yeah.
Where did you come up with the idea for Ezra?
So I'm assuming I'm allowed to swear and be honest here, right? I don't need to be I love sunshine.
It's called Blood in the Snow. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Perfect. Honestly, the original concept was very dumb. I had this stupid idea of just guy gets blowjob, dies. That was it. That was classic coming of age story. You know how it goes.
Coming of age.
Exactly. And so that was the opening scene of the pilot. That was all that was written. And when I had started, meeting with funders or producers or network executives and kind of trying to figure out what it was, I had this other show that I was oh, it's going to go. It's amazing. I'm going to get an Oscar. And then somehow this stupid little blowjob scene would not die. I was oh, that's funny. What if he kills him? That's crazy. And from that one scene, there was enough interest that I wrote the whole pilot based off that single scene. And the next person to read the pilot greenlit the show.
Really?
So it was this dumb idea that was born out of just being dumb, that like a vampire, it just will not die. It will live on no matter what I do. But yeah, that was it.
And was it always the goal to be a series?
The thing was there was never a goal because I didn't know it was going to happen. And then when all these people were kind of trying to put their hands on it, I definitely was okay, this could be something more. So I tried to, flesh it out, but it was also my first thing I ever did. So I wasn't very aware of how a network works or how money works or episodic fees. So I was trying to figure out how much money do I need to make this a show that makes it good? And I definitely learned that towards during the process. But I think as a show, as a series, you get to watch that character kind of overcome why he doesn't like himself as a vampire and how he's able to accept that about him and then move on in order to keep himself and the people he loves alive, all while, wearing Chelsea boots and looking really sexy at the same time.
And that's important.
That's really important. Sex appeal is important.
Exactly.
It makes
especially
money.
For vampires.
Especially for vampires. And you know what? We're talking about basic rights at this point.
Yeah.
What was production like on this? Because it's in a high school and the whole bit. So how hard was production to get locations and such?
It was the issue. I mean, it was complicated. I think anyone who's probably done these interviews is it's Canada, it's low budget, it's you're pulling favors. The guy you knew 10 years ago who lived down the street across the floor that knew your cousin once and they went to prom together, but they broke it. It was that. How many favors can I pull and ask to come in? It was definitely really hard. We shot the college part at Black Creek Pioneer Village in the museum part because there's a whole flashback episode. So we used the village as the flashback. It was a bang for your buck.
Oh, nice.
We're renting it, but we're going to use all of this whole spot and milk it as much as we can. But it was very challenging. I think the whole process, especially with the VFX and all these other things that far be it from me at the time, I was oh, this is you can do this on iMovie, right? No, you can't do that on iMovie. But luckily, within the show, like one of our producers, Jesse Forsey, is a VFX artist. He worked in like Blade Runner and all these other things. So by circumstance, he was just a great asset to have. That I was like, oh, girl, you know how to do this? He was like, yes, I have an Oscar. I know how to do this.
This is what I was saying in a previous episode. I was actually with Colin. That's like, this is so great about in Canada. There's so many people that work on these big shows that are here, and if you can get them at the right time and the right place, they're interested in your project. You can get people at caliber that you normally would never be able to get. Yeah,
and I'm like, it was everything just like with Ezra. What I always say about it is like, it was the thing that everything had to fall into place at the exact second to happen.
Right.
Like if one of those things did not exist, it wouldn't have been possible.
Wow.
But anyways, yeah, it was hard.
That's true.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. It was really hard, but it paid off. Now I'm here. But I wanted to die the whole time. But I'm really proud of the show and what it's done for me. It like literally changed my life.
Wow, amazing.
That is crazy.
And it's airing on Out TV? Right?
Yeah, it's on Out TV and then Out TV Worldwide and then on their channels, which I think are still on Amazon and Apple TV.
Right on. Yeah, so just explain to people listening to one thing that we do unique for our festival is that we do have a pretty healthy web series and digital series component, and one of the episodes will be screening tonight, and their Bits and Bytes program, and then the panel we're having is talking about digital series and stuff like that too. So one that usually we have premiere status only, but we make exceptions for the web and digital series kind of like that too. So it's always exciting to get to see stuff that's made for the small screen, but also made for the big screen too, right? So yeah.
And I am so grateful to have it in this festival. Like this is like for me personally, this is like means a lot to be included in this festival and all these other things that I've had a lot of friends who are filmmakers who have had their projects, like Danishka Esterhazy, who to me is like, I haven't worked with her yet, but we have a relationship on some things. We're trying to, hopefully one day I can do that. But I know that like her film Level 16, I think years ago was in like, for me, I'm like, I'm on the same thing that she's in.
Yeah.
I work at the gas station. I shouldn't be here. So I was just like, it's like a big accomplishment on my end to be in this.
And you got the 6 degrees of separation because she's been directing Ginny and Georgia.
Yes.
And Chelsea Clark's been in your series, and I think she's on Ginny and Georgia like that too. So there's all these.
I have a lot of Ginny and Georgians around me.
People, I bet you do. Yeah.
Even on my CBC show Ghosting, there's like half the cast is on that show.
There you go. Yeah.
So after having done a series, do you have interest in features, or is the series the format you're kind of liking?
I definitely like television for me, and like series. I think I'm more comfortable now because I know what I'm doing, and especially like with Ezra or like with my CBC show that we're doing second season right now. I feel comfortable now, and I think with film, I definitely want to do it. And I think I want to just make sure that when I do it, I do it right. Because I'm one of those people that like filmmaking is a craft. Like acting is a talent. Like these things are crafts. And I am of the mind where it's not anyone can make art. Not everyone's an artist. And I want to make sure that if I'm going to do that, I do it as best as I can. So I want to make sure that I know as much as I can to do it. But I definitely want to. But I want to make sure that the real Oscars, the Tonys, the Grammys, we're going to like change the world with this.
It's the Jeff Goldblum principle.
I need to make my ginger snaps. I need to like come for John Fawcett. And like, I'm just a little girl. So like, I don't know if I can accomplish that, but I'm going to try.
Well, is there any other target story that you want to tell? Like from this coming from one little joke, is there something sitting there?
Oh, well, I mean, as far as Ezra goes, and I can't like fully get into like the what has happened with that show, but it's not dead. Like they're originally like the first version was supposed to have like a second season, and then some bigger parties got involved as far as like what else we could do with the IP, and so there's more where he came from. But as far as that, like I definitely have other projects, like I have other shows in development now, and I really want to just make sure that for me it's always like BIPOC queer horror. Like everything I create lives in this world that I live in, which is like, I don't know what's wrong with me, but my attention span like cannot get through a Hallmark movie. Like it needs to be like someone has to die.
That's not a strange thing.
It's just attention span can't do it. And so I definitely want to make sure to keep creating that content, but basing it in the world that I live in, which is, present day Canada. Like, we live in one of the most multicultural, diverse cities in the country, and I also feel like that should be represented as far as queer stories and all of that. But still, everybody loves a good scream. Yeah. Everybody likes it.
That is very, very true. Hence, a festival. was born.
Yeah. No, that's great, and we really want to see really more queer storytelling in the genre space and stuff like that. And I think especially with vampires, it just lends itself just so seamlessly to it like that too.
And that was even the thing with Ezra, like, because so many gay people love scary things. I'm sure there's some weird psychological pipeline of why that is, but the amount of people that love that genre that are queer versus the amount of horror content that has queer people in it on screen, that ratio does not balance. But so I was like, how do I kind of get into that? But I also think like the gays love a pop star and they love a final girl, so that's probably they want the diva to get to the end.
Yeah.
So that might also be it. But I definitely want to be a part of hopefully adding to that slew of projects that can exist. But I definitely think Ezra was like the jumping off point for me, and I think it's like so there's so much more from here.
Fantastic.
Well, like you said, too, vampires do lend to that because they're a very androgynous character, just in like literature.
Yeah.
So it fits so well. Like Ezra, I love Ezra.
He's just like he's just like so dumb, and I love it. He's just like, I don't know, I don't care. Yeah. And I'm like, girl, you're like just killing people. He's like, it's fine. I'm like, okay.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great series. Yeah.
Well, if someone is following up on you, like where can they find what you're up to and what you're doing?
You can check your local criminal listing. Instagram, TikTok, at Luke Hutchie, the run-of-the-mill things of social media. But, yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And congratulations on coming to the festival, and good luck.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Join us next time for Blood in the Snow Radio. Bits Radio is a production of Three Evil Cats Productions in association with the Blood in the Snow Canadian Film Festival. For more information and to listen to other episodes, visit bloodinthesnow.ca and tweet us at BitsFilmFest. Music by Jen Gorman, produced and edited by Kelly Michael Stewart. I am Edouard.